Thanks very much, Pranesh. At a time when oppositions go to criticism of the centre when it comes to China's misadventures at the LAC, is that the government's inaction is to be blamed. Times Now gets you a series of ground reports from 2021 from the LAC, from that very sector, from Tawang, from Sela Pass, from Bumla, that show you how India has been doing anything but sleeping at the wheel. Slowly but surely, India has been ramping up its infrastructure, its preparedness, its drills, the kind of weapons that it has at the line of actual control. Times Now has accessed latest details of major infrastructure drive along the LAC in Arunachal Pradesh and is gearing up for an eventuality like what happened in Tawang on the 9th of December. Times Network defense editor Manu Pabi reports now from one of the bunkers constructed along the LAC. It's a part of India's string of defenses in Tawang.
Okay, we're walking through one of the many bunkers constructed along the line of actual control. This is a network of bunkers, defensive bunkers, where troops are deployed. These bunkers are used as command posts as well as positions from where approaching enemies can be defeated. As you can see, they're heavily fortified. You see steel beams right on top of us, thick stone walls on both sides, blast resistant, and a whole network of them exists throughout the LAC, and especially in the Tawang sector. There's a huge amount of these bunkers. Remember, this is the area where China has a special interest, and defenses accordingly have been beefed up to quite an extent here.
Times Now, in fact, now gets you a report from one of the control rooms from where artillery fire is being directed. What you see on your screens right now is a number of drills that were carried out very close to the LAC by the army to always be in a state of operational preparedness. It is about man-to-man combat, unarmed combat, and also a drill of the kind of weaponry that we have positioned at the LAC. Now let's take you inside one of those control rooms, which in fact is directing artillery fire.
Right now we are in a bunker on the LAC near Bumla. This is basically an exercise that we are witnessing right now of a company commander's command center. This is a place where the commander is getting information of an impending attack from across the LAC, and he's just witnessed 3 tanks crossing, and he's given instructions to his troops to engage those tanks and to destroy them. This is a very real world scenario which is being played out in front of all of us, and this is in case of a battle. This is how it will be fought. A lot of modern nades here. There is a thermal switcher there. You have a live feed coming from a quadcopter. Sorry, there's a tactical video streamer by troops up ahead. A lot of technology involved in this new warfare, which is being imbibed by troops who are posted along the LAC.
Times Now also now is going to take you to Bumla Pass, a border pass between China's Kona County in Tibet and the Tawang district in Arunachal Pradesh. Incidentally, it is in these locations where commander-level meetings take place whenever there is any kind of situation like what happened at Yangtze on the 9th of December.
We are at the strategic Bumla Pass in Tawang sector. Right behind us is the border meeting point. The blue roof seen there is in China. This is the place where border meetings take place in case there are differences which have to be resolved. Local commanders meet up here. This has a lot of strategic significance because in 1962 this was also the place from where the Chinese attacked, and they came all the way down Tawang. And right now the defenses in this area have been beefed up quite significantly. There's layered defense, and we will take you through a lot of some of the things that have been enhanced in the past few years to boost defenses in this sector.
And mind you, this hasn't been an overnight development, far from it. After the Galwan clash, there has been a concerted effort towards preparedness. The army has been training its soldiers in mock battles at the LAC for situations like when a company commander gets an input of enemy tanks approaching and heading towards the army's defenses.
Our defenses are constructed and sited in such a manner that no matter where the enemy attacks from, his attack will be thwarted by us. The integrated defensive battle is not just fought in a company or a battalion level. It is a cohesive and a coordinated battle that's fought employing all arms and services that are available with the armed forces, such as the engineers, the artillery, the army air defense, the army aviation with their armed and attack hepters, and even including the aircrafts from the Indian Air Force. Now, I will simulate to you circumstances when our surveillance resources have just picked up.
So you've seen firsthand the kind of operational preparedness that is being done by the army, but they are being backed to the hilt also, not just with the kind of weaponry they get, the kind of artillery that they get, but also with the kind of infrastructure that has been developed closest to the border that we share with China. And this is not about shooting in the air. Times Now's Deputy News Editor Priyank Tripathi has accessed details of all of the infrastructure projects which haven't just been commissioned, but which are on the verge of completion. Some of them are already operational. Let me go straight across to Priyank to take you through those details. Yes, Priyank, over to you. You've in fact got a status report tracker on all of the infrastructure projects in Tawang. Take us through that.
Sir, chalwa dijiye. Chalwa dijiye. Okay.
Priyank, take us through the kind of infrastructure projects and the status tracker report that you have found. Priyank.
See, Padmaja, these are very important development which is happening apart from the preparedness which we were showing you to our viewers, that the Indian government has managed to build up road till the last point which is near the LAC, and we have accessed the inquiry, the final report which was submitted to the state government of Arunachal Pradesh, which was regarding the schemes of the central government, and our viewers will be very interested to know that India has managed to build up road under the Pradhan Mantri Sadak Yojana scheme till the last point of the Mojo village, which is very near to the LAC. The latest update which the officials have, that only 50 meters of the road was about to be constructed. So that is a very clear-cut challenge. This is what we have been talking about since yesterday, that the construction of an airport in Itanagar, which is of 2.5 kilometer long stretch of the runway, and later to that the road which are leading from two of the state capital, not only Itanagar, which is the capital of Arunachal Pradesh, but also Guwahati, which is the capital of Assam, till Tawang, and now from here till the last point, the construction of road is certainly something which is a big threat for the Chinese army, because they know that in case of any kind of wrong attempt which is being done by the Chinese PLA, the movement of the troops from across the eastern states will be segmented at one location. Although our forces have believe in surprise, giving surprise to the Chinese army, which they gave in the past years also, the message is very loud and clear that India today is not the India which was in the 1962. This is of India of 2022, where we are not going to listen to any kind of drama which the Chinese want to do, because there was no point of having any kind of face-off, Padmaja, on 9th of December. This was deliberately done in a well-planned move so that the issue which was, settled down, the issue which was not such an important issue, should have been brought to the international forum, and you saw the result of that. The US spoke about it. The UN has also started speaking about both the countries to be remaining calm. So without doing much about it, the Chinese have played a very dirty trick, and they have been taught the lesson by their forces.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, Priyank, because this is not just about rhetoric. When people say what is Lal Aankh, they should take a look at the infrastructure which has been developed, not just a foundation stone, but actual hard metal infrastructure that is now present at the LAC. Thanks very much, Priyank, for joining us. Let me take this straight across to the guests who are joining us now. And it's also about how, when you are indulging in politics, people in India seem to deliberately ignore these facts. For example, Mehbooba Mufti, who, despite what we have seen in videos, despite what has been borne out on ground, today insisted that Indian soldiers have their hands tied, they are beaten, and then they come back. Joining us is Ahmad Ayaz's lawyer, Deepak Jha, political analyst, Rajiv Pandey, spokesperson of BJP. But I want to direct this question to General JJ Singh, who not only has been our Chief of Army Staff, but has also been the Governor of Arunachal Pradesh. General JJ Singh, can you give us a comparison of the kind of infrastructure that has been developed, say, about a decade ago, and what you see right now in Arunachal?
Yes, Padmaja, I would like to mention that in Arunachal there has been a paradigm shift. We have improved our infrastructure manifold. There is a railway line which has come up to Naharlagan, which is next to Itanagar. There is an airport which has just been made operational at Itanagar, connecting Itanagar with the rest of the country. There is a two-lane highway going all the way to Tawang, when initially it used to be a narrow one-way road, and often it was blocked by landslides and snow and various things. A tunnel is also being made near Tawang, or near Sela on the way to Tawang. So all these things, besides there's a Trans-Arunachal highway of about 1,500 kilometers, which was planned during my time. All these major infrastructure, you could say, projects were planned and started in my time, and the railway line was done before I finished my tenure there. What I'm trying to say is the Chinese are seeing this and they feel very uncomfortable, because not only are we improving our infrastructure, but we are also gaining importance in the world as a stable, peaceful, and I would say responsible nation, as against what China is doing. They're showing aggressiveness, and this aggressiveness is being seen by the world. They cannot hide it. That's the way I look at it.
Absolutely. People will be unnerved. China will be unnerved when they see that they are being matched an eye for an eye, and every construction for every construction. But more specifically, sir, let's be honest, there is cause of worry, especially when it comes to dual purpose villages that have sprung up like mushrooms, especially close to Indian posts. It also happened at Yangtze. What do we do about that?
Padmaja, these so-called villages are not villages at all. There are no villages there. I know the people on both sides of the border have visited, remote villages on the line of actual control. I can assure you, these are barracks for military use, and Chinese can't claim to. They are very good at subterfuge. They make barracks for military and say village is being made. Sorry, there are no villagers there, and very few people live in that area. So I think we should take it with a pinch of salt. And I would like to say, India has every right to develop every part of Arunachal Pradesh, which was underdeveloped earlier, but in the last decade or so, it has now all roads which are reaching up to the LAC have been made practically everywhere, and the villagers feel happy, and they are very patriotic. They love the democratic system of India, and I've seen it as a governor. They vote very seriously. 2 times they voted the chief minister out and his son out because they felt they didn't do the job correctly. The present government is doing a very good job. I know Pema Khanduji from the time I was there. He was just an MLA, but he was the son of then Chief Minister Khandu Dorji. What I'm trying to say, India has a democratic way of life and people can express their views. Now, China has no such freedom. They are a communist, one-party ruled nation, which is like a dictatorship. And Xi Jinping, his word is the last word. So they find that if the Indian system succeeds, the Chinese Communist Party has to wind up. They have to lose their position in the country, and therefore it's a conceptual clash, ideological clash between China and India.
So finally, I want to ask you 2 assertions that are being repeatedly made, that China is sitting on our land in Arunachal, and 2, our soldiers get beaten up and are forced to not retaliate. What do you have to say to both of those arguments?
Padmaja, I can reassure the nation, I can reassure our opposition parties that the Indian Army is not under any restrictions as far as taking proper action is concerned. The proper orders being laid down, and they don't have to look back. They have to follow those orders and instructions, which are based on the agreements between the 2 countries in 1993. It was the peace and tranquility along the LC, and the second one in 1996 was talking about confidence building measures. The Chinese have violated both these agreements, so Chinese cannot be trusted. I can also tell our very, very, I would say, important opposition leaders that please don't get into the trap of the Chinese, because they want you to discuss and debate this in the parliament and create chaos. But I think Chinese have used this tactic even 100 years ago when the Young Husband expedition went into Tibet, and their military attaché in London was telling them what is going on in the British Parliament. We are an open book. A democracy is an open book. But Chinese, what happens is we don't know whether Xi Jinping ordered it or the military leader or commander ordered it, when what has happened now in Yangtze. So what I want to mention is that in India, we have checks and balances.
Yes.
Our soldiers are better than every Chinese soldier, man to man. And they are giving them a befitting reply, a bloody nose. Kindly note our dear opposition leaders, because you also have to see the national interest and don't play into the hands of the Chinese tactics.
Thanks very much, General JJ Singh, for having joined us with your perspective. When people say that our hands are tied, I think pictures speak louder than words, and there are plenty of pictures that we've seen from along the LAC in the past few years. Thank you, General Singh. Let me take this across to Rajiv Pandey, Deepak Jha and Ahmed Ayaz. Ahmed Ayaz, where are the hands tied?
We were taken. We were given a confidence when the Prime Minister said earlier that we will get one head against the 10. So that was a very big message given to the country as it stands against the Pakistan long back. So when we see today these developments taking place, earlier it was China.
So you're basically saying, sir, that if somebody tries to cross the barbed wire, we should behead them. That is your military strategy. That somebody tries to cross the LAC or somebody throws a cigarette packet across the LAC, cut their head.
My point of telling you is the confidence given the Prime Minister to the country is that nobody will dare to look towards our borders.
But sir,
and to that extent, he said that in case somebody does it,
if your neighbor wants to grab your house, you can only stop him, na? Or what will you say? Nahi, neighbor, you are not allowed to look at my house. Well, your neighbor is like that. The neighbor is making a boundary wall on your property.
You should be.
Or in your case, you will say, I'll behead him.
Padma, when you know that your enemy is alert against you, you have to be extraordinarily alert.
How do you know we are not extraordinarily alert? Rajiv Pandey, you should be extraordinarily alert.
No, how do
you know we are not alert?
See, I don't think we should doubt the doubts. We should not doubt the intentions of someone who,
Okay, let Rajiv Pandey answer. Were you extraordinarily alert? Rajiv Pandey, were you extraordinarily alert? Were you extraordinarily alert?
Padmaja ji, we can easily understand that why China is worried, because India is growing as a global power, and that's the reason that China is doing all these things, which is Indian Army is giving befitting reply, which is very clear from all the current generals or ex-generals' statement. You can see. Now what my friend is saying, that whether we were extraordinarily alert or not, that can be only seen through your videos, not today. From Galwan till today I am saying, then Indian Army was extraordinarily alert. The issue is, China's worry I can understand, but why in India? Why opposition is playing in the hands of China? China could not achieve anything on the border, but one thing China is achieving, to show the world that India is a divided house. You see, some people, not all the people, some politicians are acting like agent of China.
Why do you want to show India as divided house? Mr. Ayaz.
No, sorry. It is not acting in the hands of the any other country or China, whatever you say. It is a question. It's a genuine question and concern of everybody. And to say that why should opposition? I am not for any political party, but anybody has a right to raise a question on this issue, because your enemy is at your doorstep in a way.
Okay.
It has already done last time in the China.
Well, sir, here is the difference. Yes, everyone knows the enemy is at the doorstep, but while you believe that the door is open and people are sleeping, the reality is that the door is firmly locked and people are standing next to the door, prepared for that enemy if and when he should try and enter. Let's leave it at that. Like I said, pictures speak louder than words. Thanks very much, both gentlemen, for joining me.